Over yonder stands little Maggie with a dram glass in her hands. She's drinking away her troubles and courting another man.
I bought the MoonshineRacers.com thinking I would be able to sell it to NASCAR, but those guys wouldn't have anything to do with it. In fact, they were threatening to come after me, so we needed a name for the band, and I was like, we already have a website. So that was it.
Moonshine Racers.
The stands with Maggie with a cram glass in her hand.
We're all based out of Charlotte. Cito and I met through our association with Davidson College. I went to school at Davidson. Cito went to school at Davidson. So he and I have been playing together for like 20 some odd years now, like 23, 24 years. Then Tommy and Cito and Steve and I played in a band called the Newcastle Boys, and we used to host.
I was a special guest.
Yeah, well, he was a special guest. He doesn't claim any kinship, but that's been
we were
years
playing
ago.
in other bands at that time.
Mid to late 90s, yeah, but that was our first like conglomeration of what would become this band. So, but we have Carolina connections, most all of us. I'm originally from Spruce Pine, up in the mountains, a little small town between Boone and Asheville. Steve, Morganton boy. Tommy, Charlotte native.
Yeah, I grew up in Charlotte.
We're all charlatans.
That's right. We're all charlatans now, but I'm originally grew up in Tampa, so I'm a swamp guy, bluegrass swamp guy.
And this one over here, where did you grow up?
In Venezuela, Caracas. And I traveled all over the place. I also I went to Colorado to try to make it rich with the .com thing, and of course I came back on a Greyhound bus with the MoonshineRacers.com name under my belt.
One day, my sister's boyfriend was a musician and quite a very well accomplished drummer. Told me that I ought to go for what I want really, he asked me what instrument that I really want to play. I want to go back to clarinet. I said, no, I want to play string instruments. He said, well, what do you really want to play? I said, I've always wanted to play a banjo. And I've always loved bluegrass music because I was influenced with that through my dad and my grandpa. So I just picked it up and took a couple of lessons. In about 6 months, I was playing it. Started traveling to bluegrass festivals, and really just picking up my chops and my licks from playing in the parking lot and in the rough, and just going all through the South to playing at bluegrass festivals.
Started playing the bass. Met this Japanese guy down at the local Morganton music store, and his name was Moto. And he went on to MIT to become something pretty cool, I'm sure. But Moto was awesome. He was really instrumental in throwing the Jaco Pastorius style into my face, and I was like amazed and blown away. So that was my first major influence on the bass.
During the video game phase of my life, I was listening to music, and things like, at the time it was Peter Frampton. I was a little softer rock than these guys. Iron Maiden was a little too hard for me. Eric Clapton, and then I always liked fancy guitarists like Al Di Meola and Eric Johnson and, Steve Morse. At this point, my main influence, I'd have to say, is Jerry Garcia, and I never really learned any note-for-note things, except for a few songs here and there. But it was the getting lost in the music and then trying to get back into it. It's like getting back into it after you're out there. That's the fun part.
Getting lost
on
purpose,
he
just
calls
to try
it
to
jazz.
find your way back.
I don't know what to call it.
It's improv.
It's fun.
I think bluegrass and heavy metal are similar because, there's a strong driving rhythm to both styles of music. There usually is a lead instrument taking solos, a soloist taking leads. Solos taking leads, leads taking solos. Yeah. Cito is pretty much our master lead soloist. And similar in heavy metal, there's always a really strong lead guitarist. In this group, we have a really strong lead guitarist. And that's some of the similar, and this guy is totally from similar backgrounds with the Iron Maiden, strong, heavy driving bass, You know, we have a rhythm section to go along with it. So, you know, there is that somewhat parallel. But I'm just happy to be jamming with these guys. They are fun.
My parents, I grew up listening. My parents listened to Jimmy Rogers, Carter Family, Bill Monroe, all the traditional old-time music and stuff like that. But in high school, I grew away from that, got into rock and roll. College, met people like Cito, got into the Grateful Dead, which was a wonderful thing, actually, in retrospect, because the Grateful Dead encompassed so many different styles of music, including bluegrass and country, which is right down my alley, as well as the rock and roll. So from there, I just continued to play what I liked and what I wanted, and what I've liked and what I've wanted has been like rock and roll, bluegrass, jazz. Yeah, it's a fruition of everything I've done, and these guys are the greatest guys in the world to play that with, because they're the only ones who understand it.